for the day. And he talks about subcultures. So a lot of the time when we're talking about culture, we think of it strictly as things such as, where did we grow up geographically speaking? What about religion, art? Those kind of broad concepts. But a lot of the times, what makes up a lot of the foundation of what our culture is our subcultures, and those are unique to everybody. So for an example, if I have any athletes in here, doesn't matter what sport, if you play any sports, type the number 1 in the chat and submit it. All right, first one I see is Claire. Claire, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. What sport do you play, Claire?
I do cross country.
Okay, and so what got you into that?
My friend did it.
Okay. Do you have any history with anybody in your family in any sports?
No.
No? Okay. So that is, what about, what kind of rules do you have for the cross-country team? Like, what things do you have to do to stay on the team?
Like, come to practice.
Do you guys have, like, grade rules also?
Yeah.
So a lot of personal responsibility things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Claire. So Claire's interesting in the standpoint that she didn't really have a lot of family ties as far as athletics. And I was a lot of the same way. I played 4 sports in high school, but I was the only one in my family that really did that. But for a lot of people, playing soccer or baseball or tennis or football is something that's a generational thing. And so that has a lot to do with their subculture. Claire also mentioned there's rules when you're on those teams. So you have to show up to practice. You have to keep your grades up, things of those nature. So those subcultures teach you a lot about things like personal responsibility, learning to be in control of like certain situations, leadership. I mean, countless things that sports teach us. But those subcultures are just as important as some of the more broad topics we cover in classes. So it's important to think about those things because you all have your very unique mix of subcultures and cultures. So what we are going to do now is in the Google Classroom, you should see I posted an assignment called Exploring Other Cultures. And for today, we're just going to do a little exploring, use the internet as our friend to help us learn about something. What we are going to do is I'm going to put you into breakout rooms of 2 or 3 people. You are then going to pick a country. If you want to make it easy, you can pick a country. You can say, I'm going to look at Germany, or I'm going to look at India. Or you can pick, somebody asked, could I do something like the Navajo Indians? Of course. The only thing I ask is, if you're going to pick a country, don't pick the United States. And if you're going to do like a subgroup, don't do something like people from Freeland, Michigan. I'm not looking for something like that. Step out of your comfort zone a little bit and learn about something you don't know about. There's about 11 questions and then 3 personal reflection questions. You can work with your partner or your group if you have a group of 3, which somebody probably will. Just everybody fill out their own Google Doc because you're all going to submit it for points at the end of the class. Before I send you out into breakout rooms, is there any questions? I don't think I clarified this. You guys probably picked up on it. But you're just going to use Google. National Geographic's probably going to be your best friend for a lot of it. Do we have to do the same thing? Yes. So whoever's in your group, you guys are going to focus on the same country or cultural group that you choose. You're going to work together on it. But yeah, so you're just using Google, using the internet, use good, reliable resources like we've talked about before to answer those questions. I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to start with your groups, and we'll bring it back, talk about it a little bit, make sure everybody's on the same page, and then we will move on to the next topic. So if there are no other questions, I got that one from Trinity. If there's no other questions, I'm going to put you in your groups.